All right, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we are tackling commercial number 3 or maybe 4 inside of one location. How many commercials can we shoot in a bar? I already know the answer. It's more than 4, and this is the 4th one. So let's jump into this. If you haven't seen the past videos that we have done in this space, I'm sure they're somewhere in the link in the description below, or they're over here on the other side. If you're a Patreon supporter, which many thanks if you are a Patreon supporter, it's the only reason I do these videos. If you like this stuff, if you want the videos faster when they actually come out, and even more content, I think I've got 8 years of back catalog on the Patreon site, breaking down my own work, breaking down other people's work. There's exclusive podcasts over there. There's the Discord community. There's lots and lots of things. Many thanks to the Patreon supporters. You make it all possible. Link is in the description below. Okay, you've seen this location. In fact, in the last episode that we did, where we looked at shooting this exact same direction, okay, this direction is not ideal for what we're going for. And in the past commercial, I talked about how, in fact, I had to reverse all of the action to what you would normally do. And just as a quick refresher, I will say that over here, let's see if we see, do we see? Yes. So in this close-up, you see that there is a window over here. Oh, that's a big pen. You see that there is a window over here. Now, what would you normally do lighting a bar that you wanted to feel sort of darkened down? Remember, window over here. Actually, let's go to the next one because it's a little bit easier to see if we go this way. You see what's happening back here, this shaft of light? This shaft is coming from that window over there, right? That shaft is cool. Why does that shaft happen? You got a giant light outside and you got haze inside, and it's just blasting level through here. And then what you do is you set the exposure on the camera to what you can't control. In this case, we cannot control this. Why? Because this is not an 18K. This is not an M90. This is none of those things. This is the sun. Okay, the sun is blasting through this window, and slowly but surely, as we're sitting here setting up for the shot, this is going away. Okay, it's going away because it's going over the roof. We're going this way, and the angle is getting less and less and less and less and less until it's completely gone. And I don't want it to be gone because I like this look. And we don't have to have it. We can't have it all day. Why? Because we're on a super tight budget and we have 3 lamps. None of them are outside. So normally, this is the angle that I would like to be shooting in this place relative to the windows, because I want to take the windows and I want to take this door back here. Remember, there's a door that's letting this little light in there, and I want to bash level in this way. In fact, I want to take this slash and I want to move it up. There's another window just here, and it could be lighting our gentleman here. And then we could get rid of our backlight here. And then we could move that backlight up a little bit, and it could be like an edge light. And then we could turn this off. And then we could be lighting everything from outside. But we can't light everything from outside. Why? Because we have no generator. We have no lights. We have nothing. So what do we have to do? We have to black out this window, right? The window that, see this, the same sun that is creating the shaft is also going to hit here as well. And you're thinking, okay, well, if it's going to hit here and it's going to be that same angle, why not keep it? You can sort of see we've let in a little bit of light down here, right? And you can see on the barrel itself what is actually happening with that light from the window. We've let some in. Why not let it all in? Well, if we let it all in, it flattens everything off and it looks really, really bad. Okay, because we can't control it and because it's going away. So we don't want to do that. So now we have to black out that window. And you're thinking, okay, well, if you're going to black out the window so that it doesn't hit our talent area, why have it here, right? Why have any of this? The answer would be ambient. We have run out of lamps. Remember, we put 1 lamp back here, whatever our tube light was. We've got our 6x6 right here with our little panel light going through it. That's this. This is the same exact configuration from the previous setup that we did in here. And then back here we have our aperture 600, and that's poking through, and that's basically providing all of the ambient back here. Okay, everything there. We've got haze. We've got these things that we also balance the camera to, and then we have this shaft of light. Now that shaft is going to go away. Why? Because we're just setting up for the shot here, right? I'm just showing you the setup. Here is our production designer back there, getting the back of the set ready, putting all the bottles in, everything like that. So this isn't when we're actually rolling. I just took a picture because I like that shaft. Now, why does that shaft go away? Because in the ad, we have our waitress or our barkeep, right? If we're in the medieval times, she's going to come up here and serve a frosty brew. Now, I will draw attention to look at how flat the bottle and the can are here. Okay, just to remember that for later, because we are going to do something later which defies the gods of cinematography. Okay, so that's setting up. Here's our actual shot. And remember, we are framing here. This is open gate, what we shot in. We're framing for 239. So you've probably got like that and like that, right? So you lose all of this stuff up here. You lose the barrel down there. And this is our frame. And we talked about in the last one, I brought in this prac because it's the only prac that looked halfway decent, and it was parked on a desk back here. We brought that in shot. I opened up this door because it was more interesting to let a little bit of light in. How do you control this light, the level that's coming in the door without a lamp? Well, you just put a 4x floppy right in front of the door, 4x4, and then you put another one here, right, on this side of the door, and then you just open up this little gap that lets in just a little tiny bit of light, and that forms that and this, okay? That little bit of daylight back there is 2 4x floppies. This shaft, you can see, it's almost completely gone away. It would have been way cooler if this was dark, that back area of the bar, and it just had like a slash across it, and we could have carried it over here. I will say the one thing that I remember doing here is that we have our 6x6 just here, lighting here and lighting her, okay? You can see there's also this aperture in the corner, our big backlight here. You can also see it hitting her. See that little neck hit here? That's carrying from over here, right? So we got backlight here on him. It also works for her. We've got that light over the top, which gave us like that warm look, which is not ideal. Normally I would say, let's scratch that whole thing. Like all of this, let's completely get rid of it and get our own lamp in there so we can control the color on. So we're not having such a huge color contrast between the daylight and the interior light. But guess what? We didn't have the rigging. We didn't even have a grip on this job. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have any lights, even if we wanted to put up something. So we couldn't. But it was a little bit dark under here. Like it was too dark to be realistic. So what did we do? This 6x with the panel light going through it, you just, instead of having it at an angle like this, which means this is getting softened, this is getting softened, and this is getting softened. You just turn it to where the panel light is like this, and now it's like this. So this is getting softened, this is getting softened, but we're getting like, just imagine it stops there. We're getting more level to the side of it, right? More level out the side, which gets us that. Does that make sense? It's like we're coming up with solutions that you would never normally do, right? Because normally you could just throw resources at it. If you can't throw resources at it, you got to do things you wouldn't normally do. What would I add? Right? We've already talked about how you would change this whole setup if you had lamps outside. But what would I add here? Inside? I would have gone, ooh, can we put like something behind the glass here to get us a little glow? Right? Maybe, can we get like another prac on the bar? Because if we get a prac on the bar, right? Imagine we would be getting rid of this backlight. We would still use it for ambient, but we would shine it deeper into the room rather than at these two. And if we did that, prac on the bar, then you could fake, like from up here, you could fake backlight, right? And you could fake this to make it a little bit nicer. This is what I'm talking about. Make that a little bit nicer, right? If we zoom in, that, see that? I think that is reflecting off of the actual bar itself. We might have put blacks down when we actually shot that. I can't remember. But that is not, now looking at it, that's definitely not coming from the 600, right? That's too far away. My guess is the sun is hitting back here and it's uplighting her there. But it would have been nice with something this way, you know? Like, do we get another prac? Do we put it a little bit closer? Or if we would have gone the daylight look, we could have backlit her right from the start. I will say that if you do go, say we went with the option to light from outside, the most important thing then to making this all look nice is their body positions relative to one another, okay? If we were gonna go back to the Bodgo system of blocking, this is in a bar, right? This whole scene is in a bar. But what kind of scene is it? Is it a bar scene? No. Office scene? Dining room table? Nope. Vehicle? Nope. Other? Nope. I tricked you. It's actually an office scene. Why is it an office scene? Because we have two people who are looking at each other, okay? Their bodies are facing each other. They're not facing the same way. If they were facing the same way, you know, like sitting at the bar here looking that way, that would be a bar scene. This is an office scene. And when we have an office scene, what do we want to do? Generally, you want to get the light on the opposite side, the key light, on the opposite side of the camera. So this is the line, the 180-degree line between them. Camera's over here. We want the light coming from the other side. Now, we want to, with one light from outside, we want to backlight, we want to key, and we want to fake a key coming back this way. How would you do it? How would you stand these two? All right, let's come down to a blank area here so we can draw it out. This is an overhead, right? Imagine this is an overhead. Here's our window. Here's our barrel. Here's the two people. Where should we stand them? How should we orient them? If we've got light coming through here, this is the way that I would do it. I would put the barrel here. I would put lady here, guy here. Okay? That way, if you have the window, we're going key light on him, smashing him. The backlight is on the far side, so we can sort of feather it across their body. And then you could either bounce from off here to get her more level, or just bring in an actual lamp to do that. But you want her closer to camera, him further around the barrel. Okay, you wouldn't want it the other way. If we go the other way, what would happen? If he's closer to camera and she's farther away, we're going to flatten him off, right? Why? Because we'd be hitting him with more level from the front, and we don't want more level from the front. And we definitely don't want level coming up this side of her, right? We want to backlight her. So if we're lighting from the outside, bring her forward, him back, light from behind. Okay, that's just, has nothing to do with this shoot, but that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so we go from, this is the actual shot, right? This is, in she comes, she drops off the drinks, he looks at her. We switch to, she can't, because he can't drink out of the glass, she does. Okay, now what are we doing here? We're cheating things immensely. Number one, now because we see this window, we have opened it up. Before, we were balancing the ambient level using this window over here, right? Because we didn't want that much ambient coming in, spoiling all of our background. So we had this thing covered up. And then there was a little bit of light coming through, but there wasn't tons and tons of level coming through. Now that we see the window, we have to remove the floppy that was covering up this whole window here. Okay, we have to remove it. And we place it, where do we place it? Do we place her head right in line with the window? Right, there's no geography here that tells us where we are in the room. We're shooting wide open on a large format sensor. This thing is just a blob of nothingness. We could shift her left or shift her right, shift her forward, shift her back. Why did we put her here? We put her here because the dark side then mixes with the light side. Okay, we have salt and pepper across the frame, contrast. And that takes 2 seconds to see in no resources, right? Like 0 resources. It would be better if we could get her face. I mean, it is sort of in the dark area up here, but it would be better if we just nudged her over just a little bit that way so that we could get the highlight from the door and then the darkness of the wall and then the highlight of her face, the darkness of her face, the highlight of the window, the darkness of the interior. Okay? This is why we are doing these things. So for lighting, what did we do here? All we did is we took the 6x that was over here and we just rotated it around a little bit. Okay, bring it a little bit around towards the backside because again, in this office scenario, remember we're on this side of the line here. We've taken the floppy that was covering up this window. We've moved it around here. So now this is the floppy and it's blocking off all of this level. You can see we got a little bit of an edge light here. I think that's either on the ground, like a poly coming up on the ground. This is the, oh man, I'm going to blank on the cinematographer's name now. He's come on the podcast. Paul Cameron. Jesus. Paul Cameron. He taught me this trick. Well, he didn't teach it to me. He told me on the podcast, this is what he liked to do. And I've stolen it. Why steal it? Because it works and it's super easy and it's super hard to screw up. What is it? Well, rather than doing a backlight from above, okay, do the backlight from below. And when you do the backlight from below, this shoulder will naturally block any backlight from reaching around too far. So you just get that nice little cheekbone highlight here. That's what we're going for. We don't need a whole ton of separation here. We just need like a little bit, a little hint. So rather than doing it from above, which is like the normal, if you do it from below, you can't really screw it up, right? Because you're missing upwards. You're missing, like, if you're going to tell whoever's setting that bounce or whoever's setting the light, like, don't miss into her back, miss above her head. That way, it just makes it a little bit easier to control, and you still get something that looks halfway decent. For this lamp, again, it's the 6x wrapped around. You can see the eye light in her eyes. The other eye light is the overhead that's happening up here. And what else? Background light still keeps the same. Door is the same. Add in a little of that. Like, the important thing to remember here when you're doing singles, especially on a budget, is don't bring her in, or don't bring your subject in first. Like, set the background first of salt and pepper, salt and pepper, salt and pepper. Then put her in there. Because if you go back to the wide, let's go back to this wide, right? Like, there's, I don't know, maybe 10 feet between the barrel and the wall. And we could go forward or backward on this line. So we have lots and lots of options, even though it seems like, oh, you don't really have many options and where to place her. We got lots and lots and lots. We've never seen this side. Anything to the right of the door, we haven't seen before. So we can do whatever we want over there. So use it to give yourself the best ambient or the best background to then place your subject in. Anything else on this one? I don't think so. Again, look at the drink. Like, ooh, it's kind of flat. Is it going to be like that for the pack shot? Probably not. Okay, then we come around here. This is his reaction shot. He gets disappointed when she takes a drink and she's all, refreshed. And he's a bit bummed out. So again, imagine the frame is like that. So you wouldn't see this drink down here. The only reason I'm showing you this is because we have moved the backlight over. But this is right here is where that 600D was before. Okay? That 600 that was doing all of the ambient and the backlight for the previous couple shots. We've just moved it over and out of the way. And now you can really see how much haze is back there. It's a lot. A lot of haze. Okay, finally we come to the pack shot. Say, Patrick, wait a second. This doesn't match at all with this lighting on the pack shot. And say, you sir or ma'am, you are correct. This is significantly different. Why? Because this one looks better. It's like, oh, make the whole ad and then bang, hit him with a pack shot. What are we trying to do? We're trying to make the glass and we're trying to make the can look halfway decent. Pump a little fake beads of water on there, fill the whole thing up with ice, get the lemon and the lime going. And then what's the rule when you're doing the pack shot? Set the ambient. Okay, so whatever's going on in the background, set the background and then blast a giant backlight at this thing. And you can see this is like, this barrel gives away the whole gag and this big shadow on the ground gives away the whole gag. We're going to blast a backlight and then ever so softly, we're going to push just a little bit of soft fronty light at it. And that gives us, we're trying for depth on the can. That's what you want. You want like to feel the roundness and you can feel the reflection there is this big 6x, but you're not like, we don't want a key from the front. You want it to feel like, oh, it's really backlit. But then there's just like a little faint, just wrapping around. Okay. Super, super shallow. Okay, Patrick, it looks like there's, it's not completely liquid over here. There's parts of it are dry, parts of it are wet. Why didn't you wet down the whole thing? We're moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You know what this is in the final ad? This is basically a still image. You know what you can do here with your help of the mutant overlords, AI? Bang, you just make it all wet in the grade. Is it that hard? It's not, right? Imagine 239. And then can I use the clone tool here? And it's all wet. Ta-da! You bring this section up a little bit so you can read a little bit easier. Maybe you get a little bit more saturation in there. Maybe you take this down because it's a little bit too light. So, man, basically, if you're shooting on the Alexa and you get in this world, there's your back shot done. Like we're in the world. We can do whatever we want in the grade. We can bring anything up or down, nothing clipped, none of that garbage, right? It's halfway decent. This is ad number 4 inside this bar. Ad number 4 with 3 lamps and a couple of floppies. They said it couldn't be done. And I said, you're right, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.